So, I just watched Toy Story 4, and I liked it. There's a lot to say about Toy Story 4, so I'm just going to start speaking immediately. Spoiler warning, obviously. So, after watching Toy Story 4, I left the cinema feeling satisfied about what I'd seen, yet I didn't feel blown away like I expected to be after having seen the culmination to one of the best animated sagas ever made. I guess I'll start at the beginning. The first thing I noticed was the phenomenal animation. Disney and Pixar really have peaked. The most noticeable quality in the animation was with the look of Bo Peep. Like, seriously, she looks like real pottery or porcelain or whatever it is she's made of. The rain, the grass, the water, everything looked absolutely brilliant. The opening itself was also good. The main reason that I liked it is because we now have a properly established relationship between Woody and Bo Peep. Other than a few lines in Toy Story and Toy Story 2, we didn't really see any proper relationship between Woody and Bo, and there's not really a strong dynamic between the two characters. In the opening of Toy Story 4, we get a good look at the relationship between Woody and Bo as we watch them work together to save RC. The montage of Andy playing with Woody and Buzz, which transitions into the same title card as the original Toy Story, is also really good. I know what I just watched, and I like it because I know it. The segment in the opening where Bo is given away was also very emotional, which was surprising given how the characters only had about 10 lines of dialogue in the entire franchise. It makes Woody's remorse about losing her that he shows in Toy Story 3 feel a lot more genuine and real than it used to. One touch that I really liked was how, as Bo is taken away, Woody's sad expression snaps straight back to his happy smile when he comes back into Andy's perspective. It's a perfect metaphor for how Woody has been concealing his feelings about Bo, putting on a happy face despite having a completely different emotion on the inside. I don't know if that was intended as a metaphor, but that's what I'm taking it as. You want to know what else I liked? The ending. In my opinion, the ending of Toy Story 4 is an almost perfect conclusion to Woody's story. Having him finally unite with Bo and learn to let go of being one child's toy, which he was unable to do in Toy Story 3, just felt right to me. We can tell from the ending of Toy Story 3 that Woody's not really over his relationship with Andy, so by having him give up on trying to replace Andy with Bonnie, the arc comes full circle. I still think that Toy Story 3 had a more satisfying ending, but overall, I'd say I like Toy Story 4's ending more. While I'm talking about Woody, something else that I liked was that this was far more a story about Woody than a story about Andy and Bonnie's toys. I don't care what you say, Rex, Ham, and the other side characters can be really annoying, and their overuse in Toy Story 3 was one of the worst parts of the movie. Like, Rex, I know you're excited about being played with, but can you please shut up for like 5 minutes? The fact that this movie is more centered around Woody than the whole gang is definitely a positive. I would have liked to see more of Buzz and Jessie, but there isn't really anywhere left to take their characters. Buzz had his big arc of learning to be a toy in the first Toy Story, Jessie had her arc of learning to be someone's toy again in Toy Story 2, and until Toy Story 3, Woody didn't really have a big character arc that changed his personality development. Ever since the first movie, he's pretty much been the same person, a toy who is the leader of the gang and loyal to his owner. Woody's arc of letting go from Toy Story 3 gets built upon in this movie by having him let go of ownership completely. Having this film centre on Woody was a good choice. Now I'm going to talk about what I didn't like so much. First of all, Gabby Gabby, the main antagonist of Toy Story 4. She is by far the weakest antagonist in the series. Throughout the whole movie, I never felt like she posed a real threat to the characters. All she wanted was a part of Woody's voice box. She had literally no cause for conflict with the other characters, and if your antagonist is only a threat to one or two characters, then they're not very threatening at all. I mean, it's not as if her wanting part of Woody's voice box is even all that threatening to him, since we know from Toy Story and Toy Story 2 that toys can survive damage and mutilation with no consequences. Sid's toys didn't suffer any adverse effect, and Woody doesn't when he loses his arm. Sid was going to literally destroy Woody and Buzz. Stinky Pete was going to prevent them from ever getting back to Andy. Lotso had them in a literal prison camp. Gabby Gabby wants a small piece of Woody, the loss of which won't affect him at all. See what I mean about her not being threatening? I think if Toy Story 4 had been a bit longer, 2 hours or more, then they would have had a lot more time to develop Gabby Gabby as an antagonist, and consequently make her more threatening. Having talked about Gabby Gabby, I'm now going to talk about the other new characters. I'm going to start with the most prominent of the new cast of characters, Forky. I'm not going to lie, when I first saw the trailers for Toy Story 4, I was terrified that Forky was just going to be a repeat of Buzz from Toy Story 1, where Woody would have to convince Forky that he is a toy, not a spork, and that would be the main drive behind the plot of the movie. That's not what Forky is, and thank God for that. Instead, Forky is an interesting new take on the quote-unquote birth of a toy. Forky knows that he's intended as a toy, but since he's made of trash, he thinks that he belongs with trash instead of toys. I liked this because not only was it original, it was also fun to watch. The montage of Woody trying to keep Forky out of bins and near Bonnie was one of the funniest parts of the movie. I'm also grateful that they didn't spend a lot of time on Forky's identity crisis. The whole plotline is solved in one scene in the first act that takes place over several hours, avoiding it from taking ages throughout the whole movie and feeling like Toy Story 1 all over again. So, Forky was good, but can I say the same for the other new toys? Not really. My least favourite of the new toys was Ducky and Bunny, who I actively disliked. They're presented as a comic relief double act, but nothing they said was funny. Well, okay, they had one good joke. Also, Key and Peele's performances are far more mediocre than the rest, and when you've got Tim Allen and Tom Hanks and the other actors giving such phenomenal performances, it really sticks out. Duke Carboon was fine, I guess. I didn't find him all too compelling, and he felt really rushed. That's probably my main problem with this movie overall. It's the culmination to an enormously popular franchise, and it's only 100 minutes long, so there's not nearly enough time to do everything justice. Duke Carboon's entire character arc is resolved within 30 minutes of it being introduced. Bo's sidekick, Giggle McDimples, was also just fine. I didn't find her that compelling either, although I did like the visual gag when she was introduced. I think I would have found her pretty annoying if she'd been a prominent character, but fortunately, she's only in about 15 minutes of the movie. In essence, here's what I thought of Toy Story 4. Good opening scene, great ending scene, good first act and second act, rushed third act, mostly mediocre new characters, very weak antagonist. It could definitely have done with being longer. Overall, I'd give this movie a 7 out of 10.